Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Brianna Wiest, here with some words of wisdom to get your day off rolling to a good start. So let's start with something else that gets our day off rolling to a good start and makes our day go better throughout when we remember to do it, which is breathing deeply. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Even that first breath, can't you feel the difference? In through the nose, out through the mouth, letting your shoulders drop, wiggling the kinks out a little bit. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just feeling the energy beginning to fill you up as you add fuel to the system. In through the mouth. Yep, so we hit a pocket of low energy for the computer, joy and happiness, right? Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. So we'll just kind of keep working around it. If I end up with a reconnect signal, we'll just pause for a moment, and maybe that's a good point to breathe whenever we pause. We'll see what happens. So yesterday, I started out reading part of an interview that was posted on the Architects of Change tab for the Sunday paper by Maria Shriver. And it was an interview with Brianna Wiest on shifting toward more peace and joy. So I want to continue with that today. And we'll just give it a minute or two here until some of the other peeps pop on. Gwen, you're the lone person here at the moment. Glad you're here. Obviously, you're one of the people who's going to benefit here. That's awesome. Excuse me, tickle. Now I see a couple more people popped on. Good morning, Mel. Welcome. All right. Well, let's get started. So we had done a couple of her questions. And now I want to jump in with talking about things from her new book. And I love this stuff because it really mirrors what you and I talk about every day. Oh, and there we had another little glitch. So apparently the energy gods aren't happy today. We'll see how this holds. A minute here. There we go. Good morning, Cindy. Welcome, welcome. My internet is having fits and starts today. Good morning, Angie. Welcome, welcome. But we'll do the best we can with it as it is. So the next question that the interviewer asked, that is just unbelievable. It's really having trouble. The next thing that the interviewer asked Brianna Wiest was to offer some ideas and thoughts from her new book, The Pivot Year. How can we start to find our invincible summer and third door of possibility when we feel overwhelmed? Anybody been feeling overwhelmed recently? And again, as I said yesterday, looks like April might be a month of overwhelm. Mercury retrograde and all kinds of happy things. So we just want to be as kind and loving with ourselves as we possibly can. So her answer, I love this first sentence. Are you ready for it? She's talking about the divine masculine here. The first step is up. Love that. The internet failed right there. Good morning, Joe Bell. Glad you are here. Stop seeking. So step out of your divine masculine and step into your divine feminine. Create enough space to get quiet and still and rest a little. When we have a dysregulated nervous system and we're in a place of fear, we see the world from the state of our nervous system. That is a fabulous quote right there. We see the world from the state of our nervous system. So when we try to problem solve from a state of agitation, upset, panic, fear, anxiety, it is not going to go well. We need to settle our nervous system first, then step into what can I do about this? When we're regulated and calmer, all of a sudden things look different than they did before. So step one is not trying to go from negative thinking to positive thinking. Step one is trying to go from negative to a little less negative and hopefully getting yourself to neutral. Sometimes neutral is a matter of just disengaging. Disconnect. Good morning, Beth. It's not trying to answer the fear. It's not thinking, I have to have my entire world figured out in the next day. Instead, it is just letting it go, letting the unanswered questions coming back into the present moment and getting neutral. One of my Zoom calls for this actually, and I am very glad it canceled, because if the kind I'm going to have today, that is going to be a pain. Good morning, Pam. Welcome. So we're just going to work our way through this. We're just going to keep breathing. Everybody take a nice deep breath for my internet now. We're just going to kindly and lovingly bless my internet. Wow. I don't think I've ever had it this bad. Ever. So then it says, once you're feeling a bit more regulated, you start looking for the little glimmers. Isn't that awesome, the way she said to do that? It's not thinking your way out of the difficulty. The brain, remember, we've talked about this. The brain is meant to be the faithful servant to the heart and soul. So we need to settle ourselves into our heart and soul. Then the brain can do its job. But not until. Not until. It is also important to remember that nothing is too small. If your joy is in your Starbucks coffee in the morning, don't let the world tell you that that's not real, or it's silly, or it's undeserving. The ritual of a morning coffee brings me so much peace and joy, as it does for many others. We tend to lose appreciation for these little pockets of the day and get into our heads and think, well, this is stupid, this is meaningless. But the silver linings reveal themselves when we show up for those little glimmers more and more completely. When we slow down enough to notice, those little glimmers can inspire us. We don't have to have these breakthroughs. Most of the time, and I read about this in The Mountain Is You, we need a micro shift. We need to start adjusting our baseline little by little in the right direction and not try to overhaul things all at once, because often we can boomerang back to a familiar but less than stable state. Think about that in terms of cleaning the house. If you go mad with an entire clean of your whole house, what happens? Good morning. I'm glad you're here, Abigail. You end up with a mess. You end up with a mess. If you go, I'm going to do a cupboard. I'm going to do a closet. I'm going to do one little piece. Good morning, Linda. Welcome, welcome. You're much more likely to get things done. Okay? So those glimmers, if it's a post you see, something you want to do in your home, or a friend you want to call, are not nothing. Those things are the hooks that start moving you up a step on the ladder of building momentum. There we go again. If you cannot find those little pockets of joy, then what is anything else? Yeah. So we need to, all right, let me find my spot here again. I'm so busy making sure I'm not speaking when this thing has pooped out on me. Sometimes we think that our greatest happiness is going to come from having the biggest questions answered, but I don't often find that to be true. When one set of questions gets answered, then we have another set. That's life. That's the journey. That's the invitation to grow. We want it to be that way because it means there's a reason to keep walking, exploring, experiencing, opening up, and developing ourselves. But it's not a rush to complete every single thing that comes to us at this moment. Instead of trying to figure out everything right now, what if you focused yourself instead on one little glimmer, one little thing you love or feel peace in? Because when you start to bring yourself into those places, that's the doorway. So I'm going to stop there. I was actually going to make this a two-parter, but I think I'm going to make it a three-parter. I like this. So what grabs you out of what I just said there? What of her writings made sense to you, or gave you a little different perspective on something, or had you think, I need to redouble my effort on this, being present in the moment, or enjoying that cup of coffee, or bringing back online some of those little joys that I've let go of? What did it spark for you? What did it stir for you? What did you take pause with that you want to address? I think for me, I'm going to pick out one here, is yes, I do feel like I'm trying to answer the big questions, and I probably pay short shrift to the small questions that get answered along the way. So today I'm going to appreciate the answers to the small questions. And I have to say, I have gotten so much better at allowing the flow of life. Like yesterday, there was a meeting I thought was a Zoom. It actually was a live meeting. So I had to tootle myself down to the church and let everybody in because, gee, I didn't realize it wasn't a Zoom meeting. Then we get there, and the person who was going to step into the lead said, so and so's not going to be here, so I'll do this piece. Bonnie, you be the facilitator. Okay. So I jumped in. I have not facilitated for that particular group, so jumped in and did that off the cuff. This morning, my person that we always connect at 7 o'clock in the morning, he's struggling with work stuff, I think. So he said, can't let you know when we can reschedule, but I'll let you know when I can.